And we're never going to make a Patreon, I don't think.
Actually,
we might make a
Isn't
Patreon
that from
tomorrow.
Harry Potter?
I don't think you guys should make a Patreon. No, that's a Patronus. But
that's right.
I get you. But I would also love to see the Tales of the Ditch Patronus. It's probably just a possum.
I want
that hisses a lot.
$2 to be an introductory
I want to
giver.
say it's a ferret with PTSD.
Yes.
From Vietnam.
Welcome to Tales from the Ditch. This is Sean. I'm, of course, here with Seth and our very old friend and one of our first guests, Marquez Marufo Melendrez Rodriguez Casares.
Hey, I'm back like that one movie with the dinosaurs.
The one with Whoopi?
Yeah. Wait, no.
Theodore Rex?
Yes, Theodore Rex. That old chestnut.
Oh, good times. Theodore Rex. I just remember a lot of leather in that movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not 100% sure what's going on. And I watched that movie and Dark City the same night, I think probably at Seth's house on a sleepover. And I mixed them up, and it really has screwed up my psyche.
Well, I was just going to say, I think at that point your mind is how do I phrase this? I would say it's probably one of the more formative things that you've done by mixing those movies up. And it's caused you to probably be the person you are today.
Yes. When I think back, whenever I try to make jokes, I always try to steal from my past. And when I think back and say something that is my juxtaposition of Theodore Rex over Dark City, people just go, "What are you talking about?" And I go, "See how deep I am?" And they go, "You're right. You are deep."
Theodore Rex. Theodore Rex. I have on old man glasses on.
Yeah. And so, what is this?
This is a real. Oh wait, was she a cop?
Yeah, they were both cops. And Theodore was the rookie cop. Maybe?
Yeah, which if you purely base it off age, you should have been a senior cop.
Do you know?
Maybe even lieutenant.
You would think, right?
Yeah. See,
the angry lieutenant.
Yeah, dude, that would make such a way better movie if there was a senior cop lieutenant, and he's like, "I want your badge on my desk right now," with his small arms pounding the table.
Do you know?
I've been on the force since before there was oil.
Do you know what the tagline is?
No.
Okay, so
wait, set it up. Theodore Rex.
Okay, so
short for
the poster shows a Rex in a red sweater and some Converse, which he's wearing multiple Converse to cover every toe. And he's holding,
really?
Yeah, he's holding Whoopi Goldberg in a black outfit. See, there's all Converse.
Gosh, you're right.
And it says, Whoopi Goldberg is the world's toughest cop who is getting a new partner. He's a real blast from the past. Theodore Rex, and here's what they thought would sell it. And don't even think of calling him Barney.
Wow.
And
wow, that is bad.
Where is Norm Macdonald when I need him to call this box office poison?
The weird thing is, people are so critical of Ben Affleck and his movie career. And I understand he's made some poor script choices, but Whoopi has a talk show now, I believe. And she was in Theodore Rex.
And she also supported blackface.
Yeah, right.
That is... So, Theodore Rex. I'll have to put that on my Netflix queue.
Speaking of Norm Macdonald, I just watched the saddest clip ever when Norm Macdonald said something inappropriate, which, shocker. And he goes on The View, and he was just really sad the whole time.
Yeah.
And he was all, "Yeah, I'm sorry, what I said was unforgivable." And it was the most depressing thing because Norm Macdonald's always so funny.
Yeah.
And I actually think it might have been a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think kind of, yes. Because he's done that before. He did, I don't remember whose roast he did. And all of his jokes were really stupid. He's like, "This guy has the determination of an eagle, the wingspan of a pelican, blah, blah, blah." He goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, this man is for the birds."
Yeah.
And all of his jokes were really bad jokes.
Yeah.
But they were still funny because they were coming from him. I have a feeling he did the bit on The View.
He has some bitterness towards the ladies on The View. There was one episode where he's on there and they're talking about politics. He says, well, he's better than the other guy. And it was during Bill Clinton. And they go, what? He goes, yeah, because that guy murdered someone, right? And they go, no. He goes, no, I'm Bill Clinton, right? They go, yeah. He goes, oh, yeah, didn't he murder that hooker? And they're like, no, sir. And Barbara Walters, like, her jowls are flipping, and she's like,
so how dare you?
She's like, that is not, I am a friend of Mr. And he goes, no, yeah, he's a guy who murdered that hooker in the apartment. And he's talking, cause they said he had been with George Bush on a plane. He goes, oh yeah, nice guy. And they go, well, but how can you vote for him? Better than voting for a murderer. And he went on, and they tried to edit out, but 20 times he said Bill Clinton had murdered someone, and he also said he had photos. And at the end he goes, I'm not kidding. He goes, you know, if I had photos, he'd kill me too. But yeah, he accused Bill Clinton of murder several times.
So amazing. He's one of the most brilliant minds that exists.
Did you see what he did with Bill Cosby?
Yeah.
He's all, I am just such a fan of him. And certainly he's never been accused of anything. And this is back in the day. Yeah. And they go, oh, so you like him? He goes, yeah, I'm a fan. Why wouldn't I be? He's never had any accusations against him. And now you look back and go, oh, he was making jabs of like, yeah, there are accusations.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's all I had. So
oh, we're done.
I felt like
I'm spent.
Well, Mark.
Yes.
How has it been going? I remember one day had to announce the farewell Pizza Fortress announcement on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
since then, you've just been working hard?
Yeah. So
or hardly working?
Oh, you got me.
Oh.
And I got my Hawaiian shirt on.
Oh.
No, I've just been, whatchamacallit? I've just been focusing on going to school and starting my new job. So yeah, that's about it.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
No, what'd you have for?
You graduated also?
Mm-hmm. Well, so I graduated with my bachelor's, and now I'm gonna be graduating with my master's
nice.
in May.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Jeez, man. Good
so,
for
and
you.
it was worth it, right? School?
No.
No.
It's all scam. It's all BS.
Yeah, is it I'm curious, because Seth and I went to college.
I went for 8 years.
I know.
Awesome. And now you're a doctor.
I went to college.
Something.
I loved it so much. I went 4 times. But in this day and age, you know, everybody's complaining about how expensive college is, and you know, there's all these college admission scandals and all of these things.
Yeah. Which that's like a whole different side of screwed up.
Yeah,
from
totally. Different
Uh,
side of the country.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming to the West Coast to go to a prestigious school. But I don't get it. My experience with college, and I know this is only my experience, but my experience is always like, this is a scam. Like, you're acting like you're the only ones who have this knowledge, and it's free in other places.
True. Yeah, no. That is 100% true. Like, pretty much everything I've learned in college, you could learn from a book, all by yourself.
In the library?
Yeah. In the library, which, like, by the way, like, if you haven't been to the library, they're freaking awesome. Like, they have, like, all sorts of, like, I mean, it's pretty much replaced Blockbuster for me, because, like, that's where I mainly go to rent movies, because it's free.
Yeah.
And they have, like, all of the best art films.
Dude, our library has, if you sign up for a library card here in Washoe County, you get free access to the online classes, the master class or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is like $1,000 package. You get it for free with a library card.
Yeah.
And people aren't doing it. It's crazy.
Exactly. They're like, library, schmibrary.
Yeah.
I'll pass. No, the only thing that college has really done for me is it has given me a piece of paper that I can show people saying, hey, I was able to pretty much jump through these hoops. Can you give me a job?
Yeah. Hey, I'm in debt.
Well, no, so
here's
actually,
the paper.
Yeah,
but you paid for school.
Yeah.
Good for you.
With blood.
With blood. Lots of blood.
Anyways, congratulations.
Thank you.
I think I told you, but it was a while ago. I I was the guy with the air horn at the Vivuzuela.
That was you?
Vuvuzela. At your graduation. That was me.
Nice.
The one.
So yeah, but I mean...
Yeah, I guess we should have a discussion, huh?
Yep, probably. So wait, actually, before we start this discussion, I just wanted to touch base with you guys.
Yeah.
So I was on a vacation with my wife, and we went to Boise.
Okay.
And as part of that trip, we drove through this little place that I think we all have fond memories of, Jordan Valley.
Oh. Oh, you went through that?
Yes. And
you literally made me just inhale a mouthful. Oh, Jordan Valley. I can't believe you didn't go around it.
no, well, like, that's the thing is, I really wanted to because I literally thought it was going to be like a black hole and I was never going to come out because we were very lucky we made it out the first time for...
Oh my gosh, that is the worst place in the world.
Did your electronics die when you passed the threshold?
No, I lost all cell signal.
There you go.
I lost all cell signal. I totally kid you not. And like, it's also like a total food desert. Like the only place to buy groceries is like the knockoff 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Oh, and the infamous bar that you were kicked out of, that's still there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, salute.
Salute.
I actually drink now, so that's...
What about that little fake restaurant?
Yeah.
That Seth and Adam got in a fight in.
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Yes. That's still there. Yeah.
Is there
And
still
the
that
hotel
one
that Tom's
light?
sister worked at?
The one stoplight?
the one
Yes.
stoplight.
Yes. Yeah, no, and like,
Oh god.
and like, it's crazy because it actually went down in population. Like, I was looking at, like, yeah, no, like when we went there, like, I think the population was like 220, and now it's at like a smooth 170.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Did
yeah,
we ever talk about that?
No.
I don't think you guys ever did.
I pretended like it didn't
So
happen.
Jordan Valley, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan Valley, we were in a band, all three of us were in a band with a couple more people. Mark's brother, Jimmy, and our drummer, Tom. And both of them, some of the nicest people ever. So Tom's parents Tom's dad.
No, it was Tom's mom.
Tom's mom and
Yeah.
stepdad?
There was a dude there.
There
we
was
don't
a
know.
dude,
There
yeah.
was
We
a
don't
guy.
know. We don't know if it was Steph or not.
They lived there in Jordan Valley, Idaho. And his sister.
Yeah.
And so he said, hey, we're going up through Idaho and Oregon and up to Seattle
There
and
was
Vancouver.
no reason for us to go there. Like,
Yeah, we went way out of the way from Reno all the way up to just to see his parents. And I remember we got there and it was like, hi, it was nice to meet you. And then we watched the Garbage Pail Kids movie on
which was
VHS.
horrible.
And then everybody started fighting. Tom started fighting with his parents and his sister.
No, it wasn't good. One of the guys took the key to the Sons of Liberty van and was making the thing lock and unlock. And that guy was Jimmy and me. And they blamed it on Brian. So we saw him walking around throwing up his hands. Oh, cool, Brian. Oh, cool.
Brian.
Keep doing it, Brian. And it was Jimmy and I from another room laughing while we kept...
I forgot about Brian.
Well, yeah, because we left him in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we were two bands. I forgot
Yeah.
to say that. So
But
the
technically
three of
we were
us,
one.
the three of us were in one band,
Yeah.
and there was another band traveling with us, and we shared a drummer. Mm-hmm. Basically. And the other band was very sophisticated, too cool for you, super hardline, vegan, anarchist, blah, 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 blah. And we were just like poser, hardcore.
I was a Republican
But
at
we
the
were
time.
cool. Yeah. It
That
was weird.
changed. It's funny. I leave the punk scene and I get less conservative.
Seth and I were 17, I think.
Yep.
And then,
And-
Mark, you were 18.
Yeah, I was 18.
Jimmy was like 15 or 16.
No, he was 14.
Oh my gosh.
Why did we... Oh my gosh.
Jimmy was really young. And then Tom and Adam, the drummer and bass player, respectively, were the old guys.
Yeah.
And Adam was this older gentleman who was maybe, 5 years older than us or something.
I thought we had graduated at this point.
Oh, maybe we had graduated. I can never remember this right.
Yeah, no, but like, I think Adam was almost like 28.
He was like 20. Oh, yeah. So he
Yeah.
was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
And picks a fight with Seth. Seth is his usual emotional wreck self the whole tour, which is okay. It's not a problem. But
I was terrible that whole tour.
But once we got to Jordan Valley, Adam had decided he can't stand no more of Seth being a moody young person.
Yeah.
And so Adam and Seth was honestly not being bad on this part of the trip at all.
Like,
he was being totally cool.
Yeah, no, he was being like super social and like he was hanging out with us and stuff. And
he
like
was making an effort to hang out with Adam.
Yeah, exactly. Like I even remember he's like, hey, I should probably be nice to Adam since we're in a band.
Yeah.
I went to the Yoko Ono exhibit with him.
Oh
yeah, in San Francisco. Yeah. Which, gosh.
Yeah, I'm sorry for
that. There was a toilet in a glass maze. I don't know.
Such beautiful art. So Adam gets pissed and starts picking this fight with Seth. Yeah. And there's almost this fist fight between this almost 30-year-old and almost 20-year-old.
Yeah.
And we're halfway in the middle of the second leg of our tour. And this is the first stop.
Yeah.
I don't think we've done anything yet.
No, and on top of it too, what was crazy is I just had sold I had sold my Xbox. Yeah. And right. And all my video games. And we also forged a note for my brother to get into Canada because he wasn't of age.
Yes.
And then Adam out of nowhere just looks at Seth and he says, I should have beaten you like your father should have.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Something to do with my dad.
And it was just like, what?
Yeah, it was crazy. And so Seth says, Adam's challenging Seth to a fight, and Seth's honestly pleading. He's saying, I came here today to be a friend to you, and I'm trying to be nice, and this is never going to happen again in my life. Take this olive branch.
That was honestly one of the most humble times I've seen
really
Seth. Honestly,
it really was. And basically nothing ended up good, and we basically quit tour, drove out of Jordan Valley, and then everybody felt better once we were out of the disgusting Jordan Valley.
Almost no, that place. And that was such a weird thing, because that was right before, a year or so before I started going in a hardcore scene. So I was in this weird phase of I'm kind of trying to act like a Christian, live like that, but I'm kind of sick of being a Christian and mad at the church. I'm in the punk scene and kind of agree with love, but I'm not certain. So I'm going, I'm mad and kind of feel like I want to lose my temper and hit someone, but I don't think I should because I'm the Christian guy. And I remember I was just I hated where I was at. And then I was mad about girls the whole time because that was all I was thinking about as a teenager was every relationship was the end of my life. But I'm sorry, I was a teenager. I'm like, yeah, when you're 17, 18, I did think that was it. It was like finding a girlfriend, but...
To be clear, every girl that we encountered was very forward, especially with Seth, on this tour. So Seth had just said, I'm kind of going to get in a relationship with this one girl. Maybe we'll see when I get back from tour, but I like you. And then I had just spent the very first night ever with who would be my wife in the future.
Oh, that's right.
We just went out and hung out. And went to Denny's and stuff like that. Yeah. And then I left for tour in the morning. I was like, sorry, baby, gotta go on my tour. And so I remember that entire tour when there's all these groupie type of girls, kind of. And I'm like, man, I can't do any of this because I think I like this girl back in Reno. That was very frustrating. But there was not a lot of girls throwing themselves at anybody except for sweet little mohawked Seth, who somehow has this ridiculous suave behavior where every girl loves him. And so that's what happened, basically. The entire first part of the tour, we played with a couple other bands, and there was girl lead singers. And she was like, I'm a lead singer, you're a lead singer.
Rojo y Negro.
Yeah. Rojo y Negro. Yeah. They were a great band in the terrible, almost as bad as Jordan Valley town of Modesto, California. And then I remember, out of the 220 people that lived in Jordan Valley, there was one slightly attractive girl our age. And of course, she found Seth.
She came in a car and let Brian and I ride with her.
Yeah.
And I was like...
It was weird. It was like a homing signal.
I went... The weird thing was, I was like, this town has women? I was and then I was like, and they have cars. I was like, I was like, they have vehicles.
It was ridiculous.
That town though was just, alright, here's the thing. It's not to excuse anything or disagree with you guys, but I just know at certain moments in that tour, I look back and go, gosh, why did I view the world that way and was so immature and just emotional with anything? Because I tell my son all the time, I said, you can feel emotions, just don't let them control you and rule over you where you just, you're just dashed around where you're just flipping out all the time. But that was all I knew. I was like, I want to be with this girl, and I don't know what I'm going to do with life. I have a mohawk. I love my band. I hate my band. I love myself. I hate myself. And it was just, and then the shows, I had this expectation that we were just going to hit the road and just kill it. Like every show were so good. And then I remember it was in Succa Valley. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Yucca's Succa Valley.
We played on a platform
in the
to
desert.
20 kids who were extras from American History X. And then I remember it was just shows like that where I went, crap, man, because it was. And that's a big thing with people, expectations. I had this expectation, it wasn't met. So then I'm bummed and hit Record Street. I thought we were going to have some crazy show in San Fran. And
but at the same time, though, and like, I think the reason, like, I am still so fond of the fact that we go on tour is, like, even if we played for, like, 20 kids who probably hated the fact that, or like didn't know I was Mexican, or like if it was like, if it was like the 3 kids that were just like hanging out at a coffee shop drinking coffee, we played our hearts out and we outperformed any band we played with.
We had fun.
I agree with that.
Food Not Bombs. Yeah. That was a good one.
Seattle.
That was the one that went well. And if you're going to do good, Seattle's the one to have a good concert at. I remember, No, it was good. Adam wanted to fight me. That's where we already told the story. We're at the hotel. I got cuffed. We slept in a park and I woke up because someone was telling us to leave. Canada, Sean argued with them and this is all the same tour.
I remember this one time we were camping in, I don't know where we were, Oregon or something.
Yeah. Bend, Oregon.
And we just like pulled into a campsite and right next to us was this like RV. Yeah. Like this old retired couple. Yeah. And Mark like set an alarm and got up at like 5 a.m. to take some firewood because we were freezing. And Mark goes over and literally touches their pile of firewood. And I remember the RV doors open. He goes, "Can I help you, son?" And Mark just like went into like a really bad stutter and just was like trying to explain himself and couldn't. And he ended up just walking away and he was like, "Roll it up." And like we had to get out of there. You were sleeping on the roof, I think, or something like that. It was ridiculous.
I slept
so funny.
Well, because we didn't have a lot of room. I slept outside once or twice and was like, I think I'm going to get shanked.
It smelled so bad by the end.
Yeah.
None of us had socks.
No.
What
happened to our socks?
I don't. I packed like 2 and lost 1, so I had 1. And then, what was it? We saw The Dangerous Life of Altar Boys.
I'm still like, okay. So
Mark convinced us to go see that terrible movie.
So I was listening to your guys episode about the Mandela effect.
Why? Why would you listen to us? I'm asking all our viewers.
And it kind of made me think, I was like, because like, no one knows about that movie. And like, I don't think it's real, but yet we all saw it. And I was wondering if that's like trapped into the Mandela effect. But if you ask someone about it, they're like, wait, so are you saying that Todd McFarlane made a movie about altar boys?
I had this conversation. I'm like, no, it's about the altar boys and they have these messed up lives. And Todd McFarlane drew part of it, and there was a puma in the end, and people go, "That's not a real movie," and I go, "No, I swear."
It had some weird things too.
That was such an awful movie. We saw it at like the multiplex in San Francisco, in Haight-Ashbury or something.
It's The Dangerous Life of Altar Boys, and one of the Culkins was in it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, it had.
Was Elijah Wood in it?
It had Kieran Culkin, Emile Hirsch, Vincent D'Onofrio, Jenna Malone.
It had all the killers.
Wow.
Jodie Foster. It had. You know what the weird thing is though? It had that weird subplot with the sister and the brother, and the brother just pushes him over with a foot. when he tries to get up because he's beating him up. And I'm like, a push with the foot. And then the sister, and here's the thing. You think there's going to be some conclusion or closure. And sister's like, well, we were high and I tricked him. And you're all, what? And then it doesn't explain anything else. And you're like, well, that's healthy for victims. That's good.
And then there was a puma attack.
And then a puma attack.
Killed somebody.
Jodie Foster was a nun. Vincent D'Onofrio smoked and said he got one vice, just one. And Tom glared at me the whole time because he misheard a conversation I had with Sean and assumed that I said I was quitting the band and hated him. Yeah. And then he found out I didn't say that, but good news, he didn't apologize. So...
Yeah.
There was a lot of anger and misunderstandings on that thing.
Well, so, and I was gonna say, like, I think the only person that was, like, truly liberated by that tour is probably my brother.
Yeah.
Because he had absolutely nothing going on. He was like, I'm 14 years old, I don't need a girlfriend, like...
Yeah. He was just having a great time. He got some real world experience.
Yeah.
I think, like freshman year for him. What'd you do this summer? Like, I'm sure that would have been an interesting
I went on tour with my band, bro.
Bruh.
Played Seattle. You haven't heard of the bands. They're new. Upcoming.
So you made it out of Jordan Valley.
Yes, yeah. No, so like, yeah,
Did you go back that way?
Yeah, no, so we had to go back through it and like, yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because it's kind of like one of those things where I was like, man, I'm never coming back here. And then like, I find myself there. I'm like, this place was really a piece of crap. Like, yep, I remembered it correctly.
I added 2 hours because I had to go up to Montana and we did a road trip. I added 2 hours to the trip, which was already 12 hours. It was brutal just to avoid Jordan Valley.
Yeah, no.
It's
smart
terrible.
Move. Smart move.
It's terrible. Remember we went, Tom was like, well, at least we have a lake here to swim in.
And it was like a cesspool?
It was like a green pond.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
And I get lake and drinking water.
Those girls drove us by it and said, there's the lake. And I went, where? And they go, there. I'm like, no, I see you pointing in that, like, what is it? A
puddle?
Quagmire? What's it?
Yeah. Quarry?
What is it they said about George Bush's war? It was a didn't they call
Quagmire.
it? Quagmire.
Yeah,
all right.
A quagmire.
Yeah. This was like, okay. So you remember in Labyrinth when she's stepping on the fart things in the swamp?
Yeah.
So imagine if someplace was way worse than that. That's what this was. And the people, like, you remember how the face of that one goblin who helped her looked?
Yeah.
Okay. So if he was on fire and covered in beetles and poo, that was how the people... I don't even know. I didn't even meet the people except the bartender who kicked me out and the two girls in their Civic who drove around playing Linkin Park. I don't know.
Jordan Valley.
I'm close to the edge. All right. I'm about to break. Don't even.
That's right.
How do you put your hair up with stuff? Oh, cool.
Cool.
I was like, can you take us back to the house?
It's
now?
always been like that, though. Do you remember we were camping? We were like 8 years old, and we were camping, and this girl's like, well, howdy, boys. How are you doing? And so it's like, oh, we're just camping over in spot 12.
She said long way from home, aren't you?
You're a long way from home, aren't you?
Yeah.
You want to saddle up? And I was like, what are you? This is ridiculous. Yeah. Every time with Seth. That was what hanging out with Seth was like.
And yet, I still maintained for many years that I was the victim and no girl ever gave me the time of day. I was like, if only some girl would give me a chance. And you're like, you broke up with Stephanie last week. I'm all, if only some girl would see the value in me and I didn't break up with them within a week because I'm a narcissist, then my love.
Yeah.
How are we going to make your MXPX lyrics work?
If I'm not the victim. I'm sorry. So many of those songs are like, I'm a good guy. I know it's better. You're with a bad guy. You really need me. I need to rescue you. And can't you see that I'm the better guy? And I'll wait. And it's this noble victim who's just, she's just with the wrong guy, but I'm the right guy. And if she was just with me, okay. You'd have the same problems once the mortgage came in and once someone got injury or put on weight. You're not that great. It's seriously, the only difference between you and the douchebag is he had enough confidence to ask before and doesn't care that much. And I'm sorry, I've seen guys like that and they start dating. They're not sensitive anymore. They have sex or do something, hang out with the girl, and they become just as stupid, just as possessive and jealous, say stupid petty things. Because if you think
they're
of it,
manipulative usually.
if you think of it, them and the bully are both doing the same thing, acting out of insecurity. They just do it in a passive aggressive way. So great. You know, Mazel Tov Ataris. You're still thinking about being 17. You have a prostate exam. Think about that. Seriously. He's not 17. He's like, oh, this girl I date. I'm like, you've been divorced.
8 times.
Yeah, 8 times. And they're still like, back in high school. I'm all, no. Get your prostate exam. Get an HELOC loan. Deal with it. Get your house in order. Get a new roof. I got a new roof. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, like,
I quit.
You know, I was gonna say, that seems to be the thing, like, a lot of my friends are doing now, is, like, they're all getting new roofs. Like...
Yeah, you gotta do it.
Yeah, no, it's...
You ever see a brand new roof? This baby can hold 11 years of rain.
I have not... I, unfortunately, do not have a home. I have an apartment, so...
Oh, good. No roof.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
No
perfect.
roof.
That's a good point.
No roof.
Roof's all your problems.
A roof and a pool that has a ton of caterpillars in it. So...
We lived in an apartment the first 7 years of our marriage, so... Yeah. It was all right. It's just place.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of stuff, so to me, when we got a house, it was like, oh, there's a bigger place to hold my gun and my mattress. And that was it. All my comics are digital now, so I don't care. Oh.
Sage lyrics.
Do you want...
Speaking of getting old.
Do you want me to dive into it? You want me to do this? I just feel like this
Yeah.
whole thing's a disaster. Let's just cancel the podcast.
No.
Let's take the deep dive.
It's
Dude,
done.
we are the #1 podcast, local podcast for
Has that been proven?
North Central Sparks, Nevada.
It's probably true. It's probably true. Like, if you look at, like, all the
Damn
Sparks
Dave's
metadata...
Garage. Yeah, exactly.
There's a Fortnite podcast, probably 2 houses from you, who's
Fortnite
beating
podcast, yeah.
you. They're like, let's talk about these kids from Ethiopia yelling at us.
Well, I do want to say before we move on, which I think we have a topic.
I do.
We have an award. We have 2 awards. One is we got an honorable mention for the Mark Driscoll Adherence to Calvinism Award. And also, in reality, we won an Instagram contest.
We did,
for
actually,
the best
yeah.
Lord of the Rings quote where you substitute one word for pizza.
What was it, Sean? What was the quote?
There was a couple, but I believe the one we did under the TFTD one was...
It's the unfinished...
Yeah, it's a pizza that's never started is a pizza that never... I can't even remember it.
It's the unfinished pizza that... Hold on.
Okay,
It's the Chipotle. Oh, crap. Jeez. It's the... You never get started. Hold on.
Edit.
Hold on. No, I want to keep this on there. If you... Imagine Dragons. Why'd that come up? It's the... Oh, hold on. Hold on. I'm finding all these quotes. Shoot. What is it? Sean, what was it?
Isn't this hard? I don't know why I can't remember it.
It's the thing that never what is it? It's the thing, it's the task never started or... hold on. Okay, I'm sweating.
I know, it's so hot in here. That's
so
part
much.
of the problem.
No, it's because my drug, let's see.
I lost my Tales from the Ditch account on here.
No, it's on here. Hold on.
What's our Tales from the Ditch password? Say it on the air.
Yeah, just say it on there and we can edit.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
It's a job that's never started as takes longest to finish. So it's I think it's the
pizza that never started that takes the longest to finish.
That's good. That's good.
Stupid disappearing Snapchat things on Instagram.
Don't adventures ever have an end? I suppose not. Someone else always has to carry on the story.
I'd actually be good with pizza too.
Yeah. Carry the pizza. But we did actually win that award.
We did.
So that's the first actual real award that we have won. Congratulations. Cheers. Cheers, Seth.
Mazel tov.
Cheers, Mark.
Cheers.
Long distance.
I tire of this mortal foil.
All right. Mortal coil. Is it foil?
I don't know. It's probably coil. Is it coil or foil?
I think it's coil, but that would be cool if it was like, that'd be cool if it was more than foil.
What do you say when someone's like your foil or I thought someone can be your adversary and foil.
Well, yeah, but I think that's a fencing term.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I did fencing in senior year. It brought my GPA up. But enough about me. Let's talk about me.
Yeah.
So, I I've been wanting to quit this podcast a long time. No. So, Mark.
Yes.
All right. Let's get down to the brass taxes, as Logan Needham always says. As Bush always says, strategery. I have a lot to add to this because I've been thinking through it and actually think about what it means and not just some quick little Hallmark cards or quotes or whatever. But I've been thinking through some of the reality of what it means getting older, what it means aging, what it means things changing and moving on to stuff. And not in a midlife crisis way where I'm getting a Lamborghini and dating someone named Tiffany Lynn. It's like I've been genuinely thinking through some things of like, okay, what does this actually mean once all this stuff is behind me? I wanted to ask you, what sage, noble wisdom, what things have you observed as you realize that you're no longer 16? You're not in high school. You're not just waiting on everything necessarily in the same way, but what do you think about getting old and age? Because I have what I have to think about, but people have heard my wisdom enough.
Well, so, I mean, I think the thing for me that's like super weird is that I find myself like leaning back more on my nostalgia and like, you know, actually being like a source of being like, oh, hey, you know, I remember back when I was a kid, like I always wanted some sort of random toy or something and like I could never get it, right? So I'm like, now I'm an adult and I have money, like why shouldn't I get that? But at the same time, like I wonder if that's like, you know, if that's just me like trying to recapture my youth as a way to be like, oh no, I'm not old, like I'm still the same old Mark and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time too, like I also kind of I myself being like super boring, or at least I think I'm super boring because like I'm not into necessarily the same thing I'm like, you know, I'm not into the same things that I was into when I was like from age 16 to like 21. Like, and I don't know, like, I mean, it's kind of weird because like, I really don't know who I am anymore as a person just because like a lot of my life was kind of defined by like, oh, well, you know,
what you're into.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, hey, you know, I always go to these punk rock shows or like, you know, or like I hang out with like these type of people. And now I'm just kind of like, I'm just who I am. Like, you know, and I'm not trying to impress anyone anymore. So, you know, I mean, I think that's a thing that's like, you know, also has kind of gone away with age. But at the same time, like, it still feels weird. Like, I don't know.
I want everyone to like me so much all the time. No, to quote John Mulaney. One of the things I've noticed, I don't know. It's kind of hard to think about like that. My life now is heading towards, it's less about firsts and now more about lasts. Like, I'm not going to have like a first kiss anymore or the idea of sex or marriage or anything like that. Like a lot of it was, I can't wait till I get my license. And it's getting to a point where it's not that there won't ever be new things at all. And I'll still do adventures with my wife and we go Oregon on. But I do notice it's less now about, oh, I'm waiting for these firsts, like the first time I've done this, the first thing of this, and because so much of it was discovery when I was younger. So much of it was knowing the world, seeing who I am, and you're becoming that person. And now it's more, well, I kind of am that person, and now how do I pay the bills, and what do I think about this? And, you know, you're voting and you're living, and it's not just about chasing having kids. Well, I already had kids. Now it's raising them. It's not just about finding a good woman. Well, now I'm married. Now it's about how do I, you know, devote myself to one and support her and love her. So it's funny. So much of my life, one section was about the first. Now this next section is about things ending, it seems. The first section was about chasing and obtaining these things. And our next section is about, well, what do I do when I actually have them? Because I had so much about, oh, I can't wait till I have a girlfriend. Yeah. Well, then I actually got one. I went, well, I don't know what to do now that I actually got one. I've been chasing all these years. And then we got married. And I couldn't chase that anymore. It's like, okay, well, I got what I want. We're married. And then I sit there looking at her across from the table when we first got married. I go, well, shoot, because all my focus was on finding her and obtaining this thing. I didn't think about what I'd actually do when I got it. And now I'm at that point. It's my next milestone is the 40s. And I've already had kids, so after that it's grandkids. And now me seeing their life and like their firsts and their things and all these treasures and stuff. But just, I don't know, it's just interesting. It's odd to me, but.
Oh, well, so, and I mean, but I was going to say though, because you have had kids, right? That kind of like extends like the amount of firsts that you can have, right? Because, there's always like the first time you can show your kid this, or like the first time your kid has a girlfriend, or like so like, I mean, it's kind of cool because like it allows you to still have like all those first. It's just not around you anymore, but it's around.
That's my point. It's not around me anymore. It's vicariously through them, and I refuse. It should be about me.
Oh well, but see,
no.
Oh well, but see, like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think that's like so. Like, I think that's so, what's the word I'm looking for? I think that's so liberating because, like, I remember, like, when I was like, oh man, like, it's gonna be so cool when I get my first, it's gonna be so cool when it's gonna be so cool the first time I drive, or the first time, like, like, all these firsts. But in actuality, like, a lot of times it sucked. I was scared. Like, I ended up crashing cars.
Your
like,
parents are yelling at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is there a knife in the roof?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Whatever, Mom.
And I mean, now, like, and now it's cool because you guys can experience, like, a whole new set of firsts, but with the actual wisdom and knowledge of, hey, listen, it's not like this, like, huge, it's not this huge make or break thing, but like, I can also like help my kid, not only experience this, but also get through like all the crap that also comes along with it.
Yeah.
How dare you? We are Christian men running a podcast, and Christianity is no place for humility, other-centeredness, and focus. This is America. I'm sorry. I thought we were in America. I'm sorry. I didn't know we were a communist country. I thought we were in America. This is no place for love and talking about raising up life. I didn't know I was in Moscow, Ruski. I didn't know I was hanging out with Gorbachev, Sorry. Thought this was America.
That...
No, that's good.
My experience, I know you didn't ask me, but I'm going to interject my
I
opinion.
always
ask
ask
you. As the
you.
host of this show, as the owner of this podcast studio.
I gave you a cheese sandwich.
Where's my $10? Where's my $5? Where's my cut? So, anyways.
Oh, that's right. I spent that. No, hey, shout out. Miles gave us $10.
Yeah, thanks, Miles.
And I used it to buy my own stuff and not give any to Sean.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's fair. That's fair.
100%, 0%.
Yeah.
Good cut.
To be fair, I did $10 worth of damage to Seth's house while he slept.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So it evens out.
So it's
my
the
point
perfect
is
equilibrium.
Universal, yeah.
Perfect crime.
So I think, like, my experience has been this. I remember really enjoying but also hating my coming of age. 20s?
Yeah.
When do you come of age? I don't know.
When you die. I don't
Your
know. This
20s
all sucks and it's
up
stupid.
to 35
What's
because
the point,
a lot
Sean?
of kids
You're
were
just a
chasing,
dream.
a lot of my peers were chasing some type of lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Where they wanted to do some stuff. And I had the benefit of saying, oh, I already did that. And it was cool. And I don't need to do that anymore, right? Like we had like a musician career, kind of.
Ish.
And we went on a West Coast tour, and it was a big deal for me, and it satisfied, I mean, I'm sure it didn't satisfy as much as having like a giant universal tour going through Japan or something like that would have been, but it satisfied that and did that. Mark and I were doing some filmmaking stuff. Seth, shoveled some people, and everybody got kind of the thing, some of the goals, and we all peaked early, I guess is my point. And so...
Life finds a way.
That's right. So when some kid is 25 and I'm 30 and I go, oh, I used to be 25, he's still striving for these things. And I felt a small sense of accomplishment because I could say, oh, I did do those things and I feel okay about it. And I don't need to strive anymore.
Yeah.
Which was nice. But the problem, and I think the truth of that, is that fades. It always fades. And so I'd never, ever want to go on a West Coast tour in a punk rock band again. But
I would right now.
I still have these desires.
Because my life isn't any worse than that tour right now. I would willingly do that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That was there was less responsibility.
No, it just,
But
yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is that I have new desires now. And I, theologically, I believe that now I understand those desires more. You know what I mean? Like C.S. Lewis said that thing, like he's like, when you find, I don't know, again, another quote I'm going to butcher.
It's the pizza that doesn't get finished.
He goes, when you find that there's nothing in the world that can satisfy you, it's because you were created for another world, right? Something like that. He said,
if you find in yourself a desire that can't be satisfied in this world, then the logical conclusion is you were made for another world.
Yes, okay.
That there's something beyond it, basically.
Thank you, Scholar Seth. And so I find myself having changed the desires, right? So now I don't want to go on a tour with a punk rock band, but I just want to go on like a solid trip to the beach with my son. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like things like that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And even that is extremely challenging. But the weird thing is, and the thing that makes me cautious, is there were some desires that I had as a young person that were never satisfied, right? You know how like, I don't know, I think we've talked about this before collectively, but I'll explain it for everybody else. Like, you see a waterfall and people go on waterfall seeing tours, right? And I remember one time Seth, your mom was talking about, Oregon would be a nice place to live because they have the most waterfalls in the entire continental United States.
She did bring that up.
And
she also said Santa Cruz had too many lesbians.
That as well.
And witches.
And
witches, huh?
Yeah. I've combated both of those.
But she was like really into that. And I was like, well, a waterfall's not that cool. And I remember she was taken aback. She was like, what are you talking about? Waterfall's one of the most beautiful, natural occurring things that exist. And I go, yeah, but a waterfall's not that cool unless like there's a pool at the bottom that you can jump into and swim in, right? And she goes, oh, I just want to look at it. And I go, well, that's looking at something is not that good. Like I want to be integrated with it. I want to be a part of it. And so there's like a lot of childhood things like that I never got to experience. You know what I mean? And now, honestly, most of those things I could care less about. And that frightens me because I'm like, am I just kind of giving up and moving on from those things? Or is it an act of maturity that I'm no longer desiring those things? Or what's the deal? But it terrifies me because, again, we've talked about this before. I'm always terrified that I'm not going to have this childlike heart that is like appreciated by Jesus and that is something that I can show to my son. You know what I mean? If my son's like, hey, I want to do this crazy, reckless thing. And I'm just like, damn it, kid, you got to learn to pay the bills and do all this stuff. That's what's important. I'm like terrified that by becoming old, I'm losing touch with that youthful desire and youthful like worldview. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, but also too, at the same time though, because you are a dad, right? Now you not only have like the child heart, but you also have the spirit of the protector. And how do you like actually like say like, hey, yeah, you know what? Why don't you go play in that ditch? Even though you're like, you're probably gonna get tetanus. You know?
Yeah. That's the struggle too.
Yeah.
It's like my kid, sometimes my kid comes up to me and says, I want to do things with you, Dad. And I'm like, I remember asking my dad to do those things with him, and he said no. And my desire is to say no. I'm like, just go to bed. I want to watch Stranger Things, right? You can't watch it. You're too young. And I know there's something about that that's wrong. And I usually fight that desire pretty well.
Yeah.
But still, like the fact that like my inert desire has changed kind of terrifies me. But the other thing that I also feel is, man, I'm making so many less relational mistakes than when I was younger. And that feels good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not like constantly having to talk people off the ledge because of something I did to them or apologize for some horrible, reprehensible mistake I made. It's nice not having to do that as often as I did 10, 20 years ago.
Yes. I would actually second that. Like, from age 25 to like 27, wish I could just be like, nah, that
Didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. That was just kind of like a blank spot.
Oh gosh, so bad.
I get mad that, how can I say this without sounding so egotistical? Nope, no way around it. I get mad, and it's funny, it's not even that I want anyone else, that I realize I'm not the young man I was anymore. That when I was growing up, all the actors on shows I watched were older than me, now they're all younger.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
And that it used to be when I was 19 or 20, I felt like, oh, I'm the young dude and these girls are looking at me. Now girls that age call me sir and ask if I want my fiber pills in a plastic bag or a paper bag. And I do have the wrinkles when I smile and I look and go, that is one thing to accept now of, okay, I am not this young little 20-year-old now. They see me as the older dude and a sir, and I don't have a six-pack anymore except in the fridge. So it's like, it's 100% pride. I don't care. Anyone listening out there, I will sell my soul if you can make me invincible and young again. Anyone out there.
Oh yeah, no, but how awesome are you going to feel once Maverick can beat you in hand-to-hand combat? Then you know that you have been a father.
Yeah. I know Riker caught me in the pills with this really good shot. And I think he's going to be the fighter because Maverick, he appreciates self-defense, but he doesn't really enjoy it. Riker enjoys fighting. He
Riker
just thinks
was
it's
raised
fun.
in darkness.
He was raised. Maverick simply adopted it. But, it's Riker genuinely, I got him these Fairtex gloves from Thailand and he's just punching. He says fight and starts swinging. Maverick, it's more, yeah, if I have to, what a good thing to know. Riker's like, no, I want any opportunity. It's just enjoyable to be in conflict with people and fight them. And he comes up, he says, fight, and starts swinging. Maverick knew to say hands up. I taught him that when he was young. But yeah, Riker, him and Maverick I've held pads for. But enough about that. The point is, I'm like milk. And time is just doing its thing, Mark.
Oh, so you're just
like
getting
milk.
kind of yellow and chunky?
Just stinkier, paler. I want to move to Florida for some reason and retire, and I don't know. Let's just be honest. My life's over, guys.
Yeah, I think is our theology of work have something to do with that? Because it's kind of like I don't think that the way that we work with our 40-hour work weeks and punch cards and 401ks and or insurance and all of these things, I don't think that things steer us in the right direction as
Sounds
far
like
as ending our lives.
neo-Marxism to me.
Like you're talking about ends. Like we used to look for firsts, your first job or your first insurance or whatever. And now we're talking about ends because we're looking at some kind of retirement age or something like that. I don't know. And, I honestly think that working in the context of modern United States career is, slowly killing us.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% believe that it's totally a scam. This whole idea of having the perfect American dream, which includes the house and the house and the career stuff. I don't know, it almost feels like it's kind of established to make you super docile.
Yeah,
and
totally.
And make sure you fall in line, make sure you have to pay that $180 charter bill so you can watch Stranger Things season 3, which is okay, but not as good as the first one, but a lot better than the second one.
Oh man, I loved it. I thought it was so great.
Oh yeah, no.
Spoiler alert: the never-ending story
Yes,
and Wizard of Earthsea references. All
Dusty
20
Buns.
minutes of each
That
other.
was
Oh,
great.
So good, Dusty Buns. I think that when there's just I don't know. There's something wrong with I don't know. When
Yes.
I realize I'm spending 1/3 of my life working and another third of my life hopefully trying to sleep and the other third of my life
And the
with
other
my family.
2/3.
Yeah. The other 33.3% of my life is spent shared between my family and other things. Somehow I think that's messed up. And I'm not saying that I think that back in the day, the good old day, during some agrarian period where people got to bring their kids to work or something like that, that it was any better, because dads were terrible back then too. But I do think that there's just like something about figuring out a way where you can balance things so that your priority is as ahead of the household, you know, as a man, as opposed to like your priority being your job, which I think is pretty much the majority of men out there who are working would say, honestly, their priority is their job, and that feeds their ability to be a family man. But I think that's kind of backwards, right? Wouldn't you think that your priority is supposed to be family first and then your job?
Can I give you some real talk, Sean? Not fake talk, real talk.
I want some hard dick from Seth.
You know what? Maybe that's what you're going to get. And this is purely to encourage you and be positive, okay?
I'm listening.
Just give you a little bit of optimism. You know, we're in rough times. I know life sucks sometimes. I feel like I've been in this weird stage where I felt like that for the last 35 years. But, if you think of it, and really it does kind of give you encouragement. If you think of it, you are closer to death now than you ever have been your whole life. So right now, you are closer to dying than at any moment in your life. And isn't that what it's all about?
Sweet embrace.
Sweet embrace.
Cold,
Just
dusty
that embrace.
death.
Yeah.
So
Back to the dirt.
So a slightly optimistic view of that, though, is technically that's every day you live. You're
one
Go
day
on.
closer to dying.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
The good thing is I'm going to die at 39, so I'm
What
way
did
close.
Mitch Hedberger say? He says, you know, people say this is a picture of me when I was younger. He's all, well, duh. He goes, I want someone to say, here's a picture of me when I'm older. He's like, how the hell did you do that, man? Like, what?
And he died of heroin.
He did.
Yes.
He, gosh, way to be a downer, man. I'm trying to talk about death and you're bringing up heroin. I don't know. There's just something about that sweet, no.
Sweet
sweet embrace
Look.
of Lady Death.
The thing is this. At some point, I don't think it's wrong to want to keep dreaming and feeling things and desiring things and wanting new experiences. Where I see things go sideways is when people can't accept that life maybe has shifted to something. Like I see guys who have kids and they do not accept that they're fathers now and that that's changed something. And that's okay if it's changed it. Someone gets married and they still act like they're not married. Instead of saying, no, it's okay. Something has shifted in my life and it's changed.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. If you are 60 at the gym and you get injury, there's nothing, you don't have to be lazy, but there's nothing wrong with saying my body has changed. And that's what it's supposed to. My body should change. My wife, it'd be ludicrous of me to look at her and go, I can't believe your body changed after you had 2 kids. She had 2 freaking kids.
Yeah.
That happens. And I accepted that and went, okay, this is how things are. And same thing with me. She saw I started drinking beer. My life changed. My body changed. And that's
Drastically.
drastically. And that's the problem. It's not saying, I'm not telling people, oh, you can't dream. You can't hope for things you can't care. It's, are you accepting or sometimes looking at the reality that you have shifts in life? I like what Tim Keller said about his marriage. He said, I've been married to 18 different girls and they were all the same woman. Because his wife has changed that many times in their relationship. And when you're 80, it's okay to say, I'm 80. My body's changed. Some of my friends have passed away. Like life. And that's where guys go sideways. They're like 42. They panic. And they start doing all these things and go, no, I'm still 20. No. And that's okay. Go get your prostate checked. Let a doctor tickle around up there. Like just, and then you see if you're healthy. Shouldn't be the size of a grapefruit.
That's exactly.
You know what I mean? In the
that's
butthole.
exactly what I'm saying.
The guy
When he takes the
scoops up
finger,
there.
He says,
Picture when, the turkey has the gobbler thing by its chin. So scoop your hand up there, mess around there.
Man, this is really...
You know what?
wait, what does your butt look like?
Yeah, seriously.
Yours doesn't.
You got a gobbler?
You're telling me your butt doesn't have 4 horns and a gobbler attached to it. You're telling me in front of God and Mark over here that your butt does not have 3 cracks in it.
I think,
Oh, gosh. Listen to Johnny One Crack over here talking about his normal butt.
You're, I think that you're, really, never mind.
and then I actually have a question. For you guys. Okay,
Please.
Please change the subject.
So, as you grow older, so you guys have both found a place where you can practice your. You guys have both found a place where you can practice your
Kabbalah.
Radical Islam, yeah.
I was just gonna say your beliefs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So, me as a 36-year-old dude has never found that place, and
Really?
and as a Christian, but a Christian without a church.
Yeah.
At my age, what do I do? Because I don't really relate to anyone in the older sect, but I am way too young, or rather, I'm way too old to be hey there, youth group, I want to color in pictures of Jesus Christ as well, too.
Have you tried Cabela's? Cabela's is, I don't know, I'm told it's a spiritual place.
Oh, yeah, no. They have that, extremely, they have, that
the Native American experience.
Awesome bear.
That's I don't know, I felt like that was spiritual.
I know what you mean, though. I've often thought that I'm in a stage of my life where in order to be a Christian, I have to wear more Hawaiian shirts. Was already brought up on this.
So, I was gonna say, what is up with a Christians of a certain age and demographic just loving Hawaiian shirts?
Dude.
It's mainly white people.
I think
it's just white people.
It's it does a couple of things for you. It makes you seem culturally relevant.
It lowers your testosterone.
Yeah, it hides your belly.
Yeah.
And
the most
important thing, the most important thing is you can get these ones with inserts around the nipples so they don't chafe.
Ah, nice.
Do you have sensitive nipples? Oh, dearie me!
Do we all? Don't we all? But yeah, so you wouldn't fit in that group where it's just guys who are doing the traditional, I'm a master of the grill.
Yeah.
And I wear the Hawaiian shirts and
I also like the sports.
I love the Super Bowl with all their touchdowns.
They watch Last Man Standing.
Yeah. They go, finally a prophet in the new age of media. Tim Allen can come and tell us how to have family values.
Also kind of super bummed because they had to get rid of all their shoes because of Colin Kaepernick, but
yeah.
There's always New Balance. There's always New Balance.
How dare he, Neil? How dare he, Neil?
New Balance, the carrot top of shoes.
New Balance is one step above Kirkland's, though, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, but you know what? Not for the price. Not for the price. I would rather go with a pair of Kirkland's any day for that $19.99 sweet deal. Plus all the samples.
I wear Pumas or Converse, so.
Remember the British Knight shoes?
Oh, I love BKs.
Those were cool.
I love BKs.
That reminds me of Burger King.
But so you don't fit in with that. And so I'm in this exact same stage, exactly what you're talking about with my church. I don't fit in with the old guy crowd, but I definitely don't fit in with the young kids with their saltiness
and their hippie and the hoppy
Fortnite.
And the
And all of
loud
these
music and the and
all the bippity and the boppity.
Yeah. They don't know what the jazz is all about. And so yeah, it's hard. I'm just going to say in response to your question, I do not fit in, but there's some layer of frustration and stubbornness that just decides to be a part of it anyways and insert myself into situations tactically. And I'll just show up to the young kids, raves or whatever they're doing these days with the hips and the hops. And I'll just show up and hang out and I'll be the token old guy there who thinks he's cool and I'll start skanking to music or something like that. Right? But I'll also show up to the old guy Bible study, Yeah. And those guys are talking about, how Reagan was the best president ever and we can't wait for Trump to make America great again. And I don't fit in there at all either, but I still just kind of insert myself into that because I don't know where I'm supposed to go. And I don't feel comfortable really anywhere. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I'm it's not about matter of being welcome. I feel welcome in both of those places.
No. Like, it's always super welcoming, but at the same time, like, there's like this huge...
But I don't feel like I belong.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, well, so, and I don't know, like, I mean, and I think, like, as a Christian, that's kind of stunted my growth and maybe also stunted my, religious maturity as well.
Yeah.
Just because I've never had an actual community.
Well, and not only that, but we're in this society where your kind of religious aptitude isn't welcome because I would say, you're more, I don't know how to say this without sounding terribly white, but you have that kind of more minority leaning Christianity, okay, right?
I'm Mexican.
You're Mexican, but also like an African American expression of Christianity. They always find themselves on kind of more of a liberal side of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
So there's shocker. There's Christians that vote Democrat out there.
Yeah.
You are one of them. Your parents are Democrats, I think.
Yeah, they
are. A
are.
lot of the African American pastors I know vote Democrat all of the time. But in the United States, I think that's been turned into like a bit of a taboo. And it's been taken that through people's votes. It's been made clear that type of a theology is in the minority still, even more than we thought it was before. And so that could be super challenging.
Yeah.
Because how could you go into a church where the guy says, hey, be blessed, may God shine upon you, and make sure that you vote for Trump? How could you feel welcome and not like an imposter there?
Yeah, exactly.
I can understand that.
Yeah. See, and I mean, and I think that's also kind of hard too, because like I've actually gone like a lot more leftist with my politics. So like,
right.
I'm like, pretty much like, probably more of a socialist than a Democrat, at this point. I'm just saying, you know what, if all of the workers are ultimately responsible for like all the production, why do the bosses get all the money?
Word. I agree.
Like,
I hate bosses.
I think we all hate bosses. No, but, and I mean, I kind of find it hard, like, especially when I'm older to, try to find a new church because, like, a lot of people either enter the church, like, super young and they grow up in the church or they're like, I'm about to die, so I better be okay with God before I go.
Right.
What you need is a cool pastor. He walks in with his shirt, no collar, and says, hey, guys, this isn't a sermon, it's a dialogue. Can I rap with you real quick? And he just lays down by a speaker. He goes, I just want to apply 3 things to you guys. Apply 3 things. Take them or leave them. Our church, I mean, we're just talking, right, guys? Right,
you need
fam?
a verdict.
Just a verdict. And he just raps those 3 things at you, and he goes, you'll see us in my book and my blog. Listen to our podcast. He has his $8,000 shoes. And then
I'm
when
not
you're
a pastor, I'm an influencer.
Yeah, I'm an influencer. And then when you're leaving, you're even like, hey, this is how I felt. He goes, cool, whatever you felt, that's the thing. That's what we're here for. And isn't this a cool roof? And do you like our smoke machine? And then he vanishes with magic.
Also though too, like, I was also kind of wondering, like, is that like a trend too in like a lot of churches to make like pretty much everything look like it's like some kind of weird Instagram filter and the like weird font that's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's so
There's an Instagram account called Pastor Shoes. Look it up, and there's some guys with like $40,000 shoes, and they have the stage. Yeah, Pastor Shoes. It's one that I go on and make jokes on. I'm currently in an argument on Facebook, so go ahead, guys, continue.
But it's hard, like, I agree 100%. It's so hard to feel genuine sometimes in what I would call the American evangelical church. It's extremely challenging. Now, whether or not we're called to feel comfortable and genuine, I don't know.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think that's kind of like my, like, aim struggle because, like, Christ was never like, hey, listen, it's going to be super comfortable. You're going to have hella friends. and like everyone's gonna think you're cool. Like, no.
Yeah, everything worked out for me,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the world will also like
Yeah,
you.
exactly. But like at the same time, like I think it's hard because like trying to find that sense of fellowship
Yeah.
as well too.
Yeah.
To kind of grow in your spirituality.
I would say actually that's one thing that the West Coast of the United States struggles with is having ministries that people can feel comfortable in without being like demeaning or resorting to some type of like tokenism to some degree.
Yeah.
And so, like, usually what happens is whenever there's a church that you feel like you're really comfortable in and that you feel like you can genuinely express yourself, they are a terrible church with terrible theology because they aren't challenging you to come outside of your comfort zone. But on the other side of the spectrum, a lot of the American evangelical church is just run by old white guys.
Can I rap with you, Sean?
And old white guys struggle. No, you cannot rap. Hip hop is of the devil.
It's of the devil.
Old white guys struggle to try to make people feel comfortable and like they can be themselves without like resorting to appealing to them.
Yeah.
And it's like, we believe in a gospel that's above just appealing to people's culture. We believe in a gospel that's like above all cultures. And so the gospel can speak for itself. Like, we don't need to do the work to do that. But sometimes our cultural influence over how the gospel is perceived in like a church body or something like that is an absolute nightmare and would do great in northern Kansas, but doesn't necessarily do well in a more urban context, maybe.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, like one of the things, and I've seen a really good uptick in this, but one of the things is like Spanish-speaking Christian services have almost always been severely limited. If you wanted to go to a Spanish-speaking service, it would be a Catholic service, right?
Yeah.
And that was the only way it was. And I've seen an uptick in attempts to create excellent Spanish-speaking Christian services that are clearly portraying the gospel and everything, but that's a slow departure from a very established and ingrained culture that has existed in the United States for a very long time. And so it's unfortunately gonna be a while till that's like actually a mainstream thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just the political atmosphere of the United States.
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
no, like, I mean, it, like, well, see, and I think that's also the thing, too, is, like, it sucks because you can't have, like, any sort of political discourse.
Yeah.
Like, whatsoever.
Totally.
You know, like, I mean, you know, and I mean, I've known both you guys for, like, you know, over half my life, and, like, I've always been able to, like, have, like, you know, I've always been able to have positive, like, and honest conversation with you guys, even though we have conflicting viewpoints on stuff. Like, I can't do that with, like, 98% of the population now.
Yeah.
Because, like, now it's like, oh, well, you know what? If you aren't supporting Trump, then clearly you're, like, some sort of communist bastard, or, if you are supporting Trump, then clearly you're, like, some horrible racist. You know?
Right,
right. I mean, there's no in-between.
Yeah. The beautiful thing, I think, between us, like, that you just described, is we're all friends. And I think, actually, we went through a long time where we were all entering career age and didn't hang out for a while.
Yeah.
Like, specifically my family and your family, Mark. And it was just a long time. I don't know why. Because we didn't have any falling out or beef or anything.
Yeah, no.
But it was just a very long time. It was like a couple of years. And finally, I think you reached out or we ran into each other or something. And we were like, hey, let's go get dinner. And I remember at dinner, like, I bore my heart to you and Jimmy and your wives. And I didn't really mean to, but it was like something crazy had happened in me where I was like, dude, your mom, who I used to say was like this crazy liberal Democrat and does not line up with my views whatsoever, actually has a more gospel-driven heart than most of the figureheads that I was like following. And like, I think I was just like apologetic that I even like criticized your mom at any point, because now I'm just like, oh my gosh, your mom is freaking awesome. And she had her like Obama thing in the front yard and all of this. And I remember at the time I was like, that is ridiculous. How can somebody go to a church and have an Obama thing? But that was a stupid identity politics thing that I had ingrained in my head. And I owed a major apology to like you and Jimmy and your mom. And like the thing that's crazy about that is I think that even though there was such a difference of opinion and ideology, it still didn't matter because we were friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and we were, and that friendship went way beyond our political beliefs.
Well, so, and on top of it too, like, I mean, it was at a point in time where it wasn't so extremely
it wasn't quite
galvanized, against each other.
Yeah.
It
was not quite as bad, I think.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing was, if you ask somebody from 2004, they'd be like, Bush is the most evilest, Shinra-like, absolute corporate favoring, terrible capitalist president we've ever had. And Trump was like, hold my beer.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
We never knew.
I got this.
Now, like, you look at George Bush and you're like, oh, he's this adorable old guy.
Exactly.
He didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like a weirdo, like, to paint himself in the shower.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But that friendship thing, I think, is important. So I think maybe, like, practical dialogue on your question is having friends in that community is important.
Yeah.
Because friends can stick by you even through the fact that you feel like you're in a community that isn't genuine to who you are. And friends will stick by you even if you make an ass out of yourself. Or friends will stick by you even when their authority figure is saying that you need to leave or something like that. And I feel like friendship is really important, and I think that's a biblical thing. I think Jesus declares how important friendship is, and even says the extreme true friendship is like laying down your life for somebody else. You know what I mean?
John 15:13.
Yeah, and so like having friends in that community, I think, is a start.
Yeah.
I don't know. And again, if I didn't have friends to put up with my bad behavior, I would have not made it in the current community that I'm in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's so many times when it fails me because the community can't satisfy me, but that friendship in a way does actually drive me forward to not just conform to it, but also to push back against it for the good of the community. And so I would say friendship is a very important aspect of that weird trying to join a community at an old age and feel a part of it and stuff like that.
I don't need friends.
Never have.
Friends are honestly, I would say, one of the greatest treasures of my life. So, and they've got me through pretty much everything. But we have our sponsors to thank, and we got to close out and finish this thing up. So I'd like to thank all the following sponsors.
Miles?
Oh, yeah, we had one.
Yeah.
Spent that in about an hour. Thank you, Total Wine.
Wait, what? And then another sponsor was Judah Holland.
Oh, yeah, he got us that duck. What was it? No, what did he get?
We got the headphones that are on your face.
The headphones. And then Shay brought the Woodford Reserve?
Crown Royal.
Crown Royal. Who brought the Woodford Reserve?
Brian Wardrop brought Woodford Reserve.
The sweet, sweet Woodford Reserve. Woodford Reserve. When you want something from Woodford, that's one of the reserves.
It has reservations.
And the nectar of life. And we're never going to make a Patreon, I don't think.
Actually,
we might make a Patreon
isn't that from
tomorrow.
Harry Potter?
I don't think you guys should make a Patreon. No, that's a Patronus.
Patronus, that's right.
I get you. But I would also love to see the Tales of the Ditch Patronus. It's probably just a possum. That hisses a lot.
$2 to be an introductory
I want to
giver.
say it's a ferret with PTSD.
Yes.
From Vietnam.
The thing is, I want to talk about something real. We don't want to have jobs. So you want
Jeez.
one episode every 3 days, you will have to contribute $65,000 a year so that we can quit our jobs.
Have you, hey, I just want to ask the audience, have you guys ever worked? It's the worst.
It's the worst.
Have you ever gone to a job? Oh, don't get me
It's
started.
horrible. Now, why would you want these two beautiful boys to go to work each day when they could be making content for
I'm
you?
trying to watch kickboxing videos, and I'm getting nagged and nagged and nagged about
You know how long it took me to finish Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Like 4 weeks since it came out.
Like, why is your car parked in the handicap? How come you didn't fill out the report? Why are the police calling? Where are your pants? And it's such racism.
You think these
They're
new
only
roofs
doing
pay
that.
for themselves?
It just, you think I get these curves by not being in the gym, making people thirsty? You know? It's just jobs. Oh, am I right?
Oh,
Oh, man. Karl Marx was right when he said it. You can do it. Put your ass into it. Man, he was right.
he was right.
Classic Marxian quote.
It's like Mark.
You know, when he said it's the pizza that you don't start, you know, but Marx wouldn't say that. Of course not. He's not some, you know, but what is it?
Do you remember in the
Block-headed brace girdle from Hard Bottle?
Karamazov?
Oh, yeah. From Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky.
How's
The
it?
brothers
Dostoevsky?
Yeah, that's it.
They had the one brother that wore the leather jacket and drove a Mustang. You remember that?
I remember. I'm still trying. Is it Do
Wait,
or
hold on.
Dostoevsky?
Isn't that just The Outsiders?
Is it Dostoevsky? Is it Da or Dostoevsky?
It's the second one.
Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky.
Dos.
Have you read one of the books
Yeah, I've read Anna Karenina Brothers.
from beginning to end? From beginning to end?
Yeah, I've read the whole book and the brothers Karamazov. I have read it.
What
Why do you look at
What
me
is
like
the youngest brother allergic to in chapter 3? It's gluten. Boom.
that? Allergic to?
He just got sad.
Oh, farewell. Well,
I'd love to stay, but I really don't want to.
we do have to wrap it up because our kids have to go to bed before the sun even goes down. It's ridiculous.
I need to get home and
Summertime.
watch Chopped. I need to know if Karen wins in the dessert round.
Oh my God, Taco Chronicles. Have you guys seen
I
it?
love the Taco Chronicles.
Dude.
We actually
It's so
started
good.
it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Move over,
flutes.
Godfather.
Gosh dang it. You know what? Isn't this just life? And if these dang millennials with their Skrillex and their ducks, and their new pubs. My pubs used to have 2 people in them. You could smoke. Now you have these tiny little beers and these stupid names.
No
Avril
smoking.
Lavigne's running for Senate. I don't know what Bernie Sanders' music is like. Ugh.
So it's kind of like a mix of like tragedy with
Beautiful.
Man is the Bastard.
Have you heard that new rapper AOC?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's spitting fire. She's spitting fire with the squad.
Thought she was Irish. I
Lil Nas
Lil
with
Nas.
his patriotic, completely straight and non-offensive song about cowboys.
I've got divorces
So
in the
beautiful.
back. Yeah.
Which okay, so like super quick tangent. Like that's how I realized I was old. So like I downloaded the TikTok app. And I'm like, nope, this is not for me. Like, I am officially too old for this.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way to use it. I think we downloaded it to spy on our niece to make sure she wasn't having inappropriate relations with her boyfriend.
And all you
That's the
found was a
only
bunch
reason.
of flossing videos.
Yeah.
And you know what? What's with this flossing and the socialism and the Antifa and the
And the Antifa and everyone.
and the alt-right? What about the alt-together, huh?
Greece
How
with
about
their Boris Johnson and his
when I grew up, the only
tennis.
alt was alternative, and it was good, wholesome music, and it talked about Reagan. I assume other things.
Toad the Wet
Toad the Wet Sprocket and Bush.
and Bush.
Look, I'm an
Everyone
American.
remembers Machine
You
Head.
know, I thought
Like the rest of
Slipknot
you.
was Bush for the longest time.
Did you?
I was like,
What?
wow, Bush like really stepped it up a little bit.
And they have 4
And then
drummers.
and then I realized it was Slipknot the whole time. Gavin Ross still wasn't even a part of it. And it was finger licking good.
Smash Mouth. He's like, I'm American. I put on my board shorts one leg at a time and sing about Shrek. I don't know. I assume that's what they do. I don't really listen.
Diners, drive-ins.
I only listen to my subscription to NPR. And my old records of Rayhorn Fogelborn.
And Corporate Coleman.
And
How do you say
Lawrence
her name?
Welk.
Cole
Lawrence
Porter.
Welk. Cole Porter, who's a regular Rory Calhoun, and a John Timpson. Gosh, I wish
Gabby
Logan...
Hayes big.
You know what? Wait, who is Gabby Hayes?
She's, I think she plays Quake on Agents of
I just know her from The Simpsons.
Now, oh, gosh.
Ugh.
Gabby
All right,
Hayes.
Seth, do the honors.
I just don't want to be here anymore. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What's the point of this, Sean? Oh, so Tales from the Ditch. If you have any complaints, email talesfromtheditch@gmail.com. Sean will answer. I won't, because I've been using a VPN through Puerto Rico and it doesn't recognize me, and then I have to do this whole password thing. But talesfromtheditch@gmail.com. If you have questions for Mark, Sean, or I, or if you want to finally give us this American dream of us talking while you pay us money, you owe it to us. So, I'm like a white senator. I think I'm above the law and I can do whatever I want. So, yeah, that's pretty much the end of that. Sean, you want to close it down?
Zip it up.
Zip it out.
There you go.
Woo!